what are some of the most successful lead generation campaigns that utilize retargeting that you've seen? So we have seen a lot of really, really interesting and creative things, that we've done, that we've helped with in the past. So I'll start with, I'll talk about, let's say, three different examples. So one of them is a B2B lead generation company. The second one is something that we actually just won a big award for at the DigiDay Best Direct Response Campaign, which was CRM retargeting. So I'll talk about that next. And then lastly, we'll talk about how to use retargeting for corp dev, and a lot of really interesting story there. So the first point was retargeting for B2B lead generation. And one of the things that we've done there, which I think is really exciting, is we've got a custom ad unit that allows you to collect an email address or a lead form in the ad unit itself. So imagine you go to a B2B software company's site. Let's just use User Voice as an example. So uservoice.com, you go to the website. The next day you're on, let's say, New York Times or YouTube or somewhere, and you see an ad for User Voice that says, hey, here's the reasons why this is such a great tool, all that good stuff. And you say, okay, that's interesting. 2 days later, you see another ad that talks about another one of their features or benefits. And you say, okay, that's cool. And then the third day, you see a form that basically says, hey, sign up for our monthly newsletter or sign up for our latest white paper. And within the ad unit itself, you could type in your name, your company, and your email address and submit through the ad unit. And I think that anytime you can reduce, a layer of a friction, a layer that you need to, hop over to get to the ultimate, end goal of the email, that's a time when you're golden. And I think that's something that we saw that was really exciting and worked really well for a customer. It wasn't actually with User Voice, but I was just using them as an example. The second example is this concept of CRM retargeting. So this is a really cool kind of new and innovative retargeting methodology that we're super excited about, and then shows the kind of the industry as a whole. And then, as I mentioned before, we've even won an award for this. But the premise behind this technology is basically that you have a list of email addresses, let's say your CRM database that you have, and then you're able to upload that list of emails to us, and we're able to then find those users across the open web and then start to show them ads. And the way this is done is actually done without using any personally identifiable data. But whenever that email address shows up on a website or a publisher that's a partner of ours, we're always checking in a hashed fashion, so it's a secure fashion, where we're hashing the email, sending it to the publisher, they're hashing the email, sending it to us, and if there's a match, we'll say, oh, perfect, this is somebody that we want to drop a cookie on. So we now know in a non-personally identifiable way that that email address is somebody that you're interested in. So we did this with a company called Busted Tees. They make funny T-shirts, really cool company, and they had, hundreds of thousands of emails over the years where people had said, oh, that's a really funny T-shirt. I'd love to get, emails of what their next funny T-shirt's going to be. But, unfortunately, over time, as folks do, they either unsubscribe or they delete or they put it into a different folder or, something happens and they're no longer looking at that email every day. So that user has in some way been, unfortunately, lost to Busted Tees. But what we were able to do is re-engage that entire list of email addresses that they had and start to show them ads. And the ROI on that was absolutely phenomenal. It was huge triple-digit percentage ROI because they were re-engaging folks who were interested, who they weren't able to touch and talk to, for a certain amount of time, and we kind of got them back. So that was a cool example. And then lastly, I'll talk about it for the purposes of corporate development. So a company called Milo, that was a client of ours a couple years ago now, was acquired by a company called eBay, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. What was interesting in that story was that Milo had run a specific retargeting campaign just off of their press and about us page to target acquirers of their company. And so they were basically very aggressively retargeting SVPs of corp dev at large, enterprise kind of level e-commerce companies all across the U.S. And it was a really smart way for them to get in front of folks who could potentially buy their company. And it's interesting, their CEO actually goes around and tells the story as how retargeting was a crucial piece in helping them sell their company to eBay. So it's really cool that it doesn't necessarily have to be for selling a product online. It doesn't have to be for B2B lead generation. It can even be for frankly selling your company. It's all about staying top of mind and keeping the impressions in front of those folks that you want to be in front of.